Welcome to Around the Peninsula. I'm Army Sergeant Matt Cromer. Have you ever been interested in seeing how people lived 500 years ago? Katusa Corporal Jang Yoon Chun gives you a glimpse into the past in the middle of one of the most modernized cities in the world.
Welcome to the Pukchon Hanok village. If you're interested in experiencing the Korean traditional way of living, this is one of the places you have to visit.
The Pukchon Hanok village is a Korean traditional residential area located in Cheongno-gu, Seoul that is open to the public. During the 15th century Joseon dynasty, the Pukchon Hanok village was a posh area where state officials and bureaucrats once lived. In the late 1990s, the Korean government started realizing the importance of preserving the Pukchon Hanok village as the area was shrinking, with high-rises being built and covering the city. With the efforts of the government and the residents in the area, the Pukchon Hanok village today is one of the most visited areas in Seoul among foreigners, with an estimated 3 million people visiting annually. Today, most of the hanoks, the Korean term for the traditional houses, are used as cafes and craft workshops that allows people to not only get the full Korean experience visually, but to also experience a part of Korean culture firsthand. After a look around the village, you can go to the nearest Samcheongdong area, where there are numerous traditional Korean restaurants that will cap off your Korean experience the right way. Katusa Corporal Chang In-chan, Seoul, Korea.
Visitors are reminded to keep noise to a minimum when traveling through the Pukchon Hanok village, since many residents still live in the area. The 8th Fighter Wing, or Wolfpack, knows it starves alone or feasts together. Army Sergeant Lauren Massey takes us to Kunsan Air Base to meet the airmen that make the magic happen.
Airmen at Kunsan Air Base work hard throughout the year, so it was no surprise when many of the offices received Pacific Air Force First Place Awards in their areas of expertise. Early this year, the 8th Fighter Wing Protocol Office won the George Washington Award for Excellence. The Protocol Flight Chief knows she and her office did not get there alone. She relies on Vehicle Operator Manager Tech Sergeant Christopher Hargis and his team to keep the wheels moving along.
So his main portion for protocol-wise is to set up all of the DV surreys that we use to take the generals around in the DVs. He also provides all of the drivers for it, so I'm working hand in hand with his airmen on almost a daily basis. And so he makes sure they're there in the right uniform, has the vehicles ready, and it's always flawless.
This attention to detail is critical when you don't know who may come to visit, such as Secretary of the Air Force, Deborah Lee James.
Whenever we had that visit come in, we definitely, when you have somebody high visibility like that, you're going to dry run it as many times as you can to make sure that everything's going to go perfect for that visit.
The Protocol Office works diligently, making sure their all-star teams are recognized for their hard work. Sergeant Lauren Massey, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
The Kunsan Protocol Office is currently competing for the Air Force Protocol Office of the Year. It's been said that we can learn a lot about life through sports. Army Sergeant Jeremy Bennett tells us more as he steps onto the court and into the classroom.
This may look like just another basketball practice, but there's an X factor present today. Her name is Coach Hendricks.
A lot of them come and they don't have no basketball experience. And I tell them every day that, you don't have to come with the experience. You come with the heart and you will blossom into, a great player.
Although Coach Hendricks is making these girls better on the court, her players realize that she's also developing them as young women and young leaders.
To become a better person, like when we grow up, discipline us, and just prepare us when we grow up.
Coach Hendricks is quick to admit that her players aren't the only ones growing from this experience. She says this team is making her not only a better soldier, but a better leader.
Well, the opportunity is mind-boggling. It makes me a better leader at work, and it really gets me ready for, the day every day. I'm excited to come to practice. I'm excited to, be around the girls as their mentor.
Army Sergeant Jeremy Bennett, Camp Casey, Korea.
Specialist Hendricks brings playing experience of her own to the position, including time on high school, AAU, and college teams. Losing your identity is something that nobody thinks will happen to them, until it does. Senior Airman Stephen Ellis reports how one Air Force recruit's career was threatened by a thief.
Carl Pasquale has wanted to join the Air Force since he was young. As an 18-year-old, he was finally set to swear in.
I was trying to get in touch with a recruiter, then we started working. Then when I was about to take my oath, he said that there's like a fraud alert in my file. Then I told him what's going on. I didn't know that there's like a fraud alert in my file. So I asked him, will this stop me from enlisting in the Air Force or at least prolong the process again? Well, he said he cannot do anything about it. Then I come up to this woman that I've known for quite a long time. I didn't know that she's actually working at Airman Family Readiness Center. So I told her about my problem, then she said we can get it fixed.
That woman is Alona Raton, work-life consultant at Osan Air Base's Airman and Family Readiness Center.
We would like to create an awareness for all our military. It doesn't matter whether they are, have been in the military that long, they're going to stay in the military, they're going to make the military their career, but the purpose is to be able to get in touch with themselves and be able to understand why it is important to take care of their personal finance.
After a little over a year, Carl Pasquale's credit recovered and he's set to ship out in May. Senior Airman Stephen Ellis, Osan Air Base, Korea.
Check your base's family services to see what information they can offer you on credit management. Children of service members have a great opportunity to learn about foreign cultures as they grow up, but they also have to learn their ABCs. Army Sergeant Kelly Wiebe tells us about a school that proved it can give students a great education.
The students have sharpened their pencils and found their seats at Camp George's Daegu American School, DAS, and Camp Walker's Daegu High School. Recently had a visit from the Advanced Ed Board to evaluate the quality of education and re-accredit the schools for another 5 years. Teachers and staff at DAS say the staff and faculty maintain a high standard for their students.
The day-to-day operations of this school is that of continuous improvement and rigor based upon how the advanced ed team measured our school. That's evident.
Daegu American School scored the highest of all Department of Defense education activity schools in Korea on their evaluation. This actually comes as no surprise to some teachers.
It was everyday life, and they got to see what DAS is like from day to day. I love our school. We have a phenomenal staff, and we push each other.
While some may have been laid back about these great scores, others know they come from lots of effort.
I'm just very appreciative of all the hard work that the teachers do. Teachers come in on a daily basis and pour their hearts out to the students. We as administrators come and do the same thing. We come in early, leave late, and it's all to the benefit of the students and to our military community.
Army Sergeant Kelly Wiebe, Camp George, Korea.
Starting next year, Advanced Ed will change to a system where they evaluate at the district level rather than inspect each individual school. That was your Around the Peninsula for Thursday, March 5th. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.
Key Resolve is an annual training exercise designed to increase the readiness of our combined joint team and ensure we are ready to defend the Republic of Korea.
Rehearsing our wartime mission is key to the success of our forces.
For those joining us from off Peninsula, welcome to Korea. Your contributions enhance our alliance.
We want everyone to train hard, but remember to train safe. Safety is everyone's responsibility. Kachi Kapshida.
Coming this spring, an event of epic proportion. Yellow dust. Be prepared.